headed for probably the second mediation, which is a reopening of the first one.
Under new business,
Yeah, I'm gonna
do one before you. I'd like to make a motion to dispense of having the meeting for July and August this year. Most of the board members are gonna be away.
You can make them up, that's
I'll
fine.
make it as a motion.
I don't have a problem with that.
I second it. I'll second it. Oh, I mean,
Okay, there's a motion's been made that we really don't have anything pressing, that the most of the board will be away at some time. That's why we couldn't accommodate anybody with a mediation date, because the majority of the board will not be here in July. And so, and pretty much half of August anyway. So unless something dire comes up, then Bill, you would have to call the meeting and put the,
I may call a couple of special meetings while you're away.
well, you still need a
You can
quorum.
come back to me, new mailboxes all throughout.
You can't do that, Bill,
That is illegal.
because your attorney says no, you can't touch him.
It seems like anything goes.
Oh, I don't think so. But anyway, that's fine, so,
Vote on that motion.
we'll vote on that. Motion was made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, we will dispense with the meetings for July and August, and if something dire needs to come up, then if Bill is here and there happens to be a quorum, then he's certainly free to have the meeting.
Well, there can't be a quorum of directors if you're all away, right?
But we're not all away all the time.
Yeah, all
They're
right.
just different dates.
And I mean, that's
Oh,
not a...
conference calls, I could have you all on conference calls
We could do that.
while you're sitting in a boat fishing.
Four different do that. Four different do that.
And that's very possible, that's not a problem. If you feel like you have to have a meeting, we can do conference calls, we've done it before, in the past. So, but basically at this point, since there's really nothing pressing, then we will dispense with the meeting in
No,
case,
if we're talking new business,
yeah.
you're gonna open the floor. I want this recorded as part of the meeting. If you're gonna close the meeting, it's not part of the
Bill,
minutes.
I'm not closing the meeting.
Oh,
You're
I
not
thought
giving
you
it-
just said you...
No, we're just discussing things under new business, that's all. I'm gonna open up the floor, that's not a problem. Okay, so there isn't any other old business? Or new business, okay. Well, the next thing is basically, of course, I will, as I said, I will open up the floor, but just to give you a brief scenario as to how all of this has come about. This came about at the annual meeting. It was requested by Mr. DeBose that there are a few people here that feel that the association is responsible for cleaning everybody's sidewalks. Okay, so Mr. DeBose, it was an annual meeting, it was the membership meeting, it wasn't a board meeting. So he was asked to give an opinion, which everybody in here is part of the association and you had the right to do. Okay, so Mr. DeBose gave his opinion on the mailboxes and on the sidewalks. And so basically there was several other things on there that basically really we already do. So the basic thing was about cleaning everybody's sidewalk. So he did send us back a letter. He sent it to the board. This was an attorney-client privilege letter, which we found out this letter came through our emails or whatever, and that was the night of the that we approved the budget, that we were at the management company. Some of the people didn't even get it off the email yet, so somebody brought it up and I said, wait a minute, we cannot discuss anything I very briefly looked at it, and besides, this is a special meeting to do the budget, we could not discuss it. Okay, and I believe Marlene was outside the door and thought we were discussing it, but we weren't, because some of the people hadn't even pulled it off yet. So anyway, we went home, pulled the letters off, everybody read it. Well, meanwhile, Bill was kind enough to send this letter to Marlene. No, this was attorney-client privilege. We had not.
No, it wasn't. It was not listed as attorney.
Don't interrupt me, please,
Okay,
Bill.
well,
I
don't
won't.
lie, then don't lie about what I said.
Bill, I have this letter right here. It says attorney-client privilege. I don't
What's
know.
that at the bottom of everything he sends, it's at the bottom.
That's because he sends it to the board, and that's what it's for.
Okay, let's not
The-
argue.
But
He's speaking on behalf of the entire association. It wasn't the board against
Bill, the
anybody.
entire association would have had it.
Okay.
All right,
Go on.
That's fine. Okay. So before we had a chance to discuss, we wanted to discuss this with Mr. DeVos, because most of the board did not agree with what he said. So we arranged a meeting on January 13th at the management company, where we met with Mr. DeVos, and we told Mr. DeVos, most of us that felt, and we tried to point the documents out and say different things. After the meeting, he said he would get back to us with a report within 2 weeks. Now that was January. We never heard a word. And then all of a sudden, now, because we never heard anything, well, we've never done anything. We were waiting to see what he had to say. Well, obviously, if he didn't get back to us, I thought, well, maybe he had a change of mind, but no attorney wants to make himself look bad, so, okay, just don't answer it, and let us go and do whatever we do. Well, okay, that wasn't a problem. We weren't having a problem with the sidewalks. Everybody's cleaning their sidewalks, so there was no problem. So, next thing you know, we are going to mediation, because we are not doing our fiduciary responsibility by cleaning everybody's sidewalks. Well, there is a big difference in opinion here. And as far as attorneys or whatever, we had an attorney for the association. He was Mr. Montpelli's attorney. His name was John Spears. And I know he was the attorney for the association, because I sat many a day in his boardroom with the board in the beginning when the turnover was occurring. So he was the official attorney. And in a meeting, which is part of the public record, and I have it here, if anyone wants to look at it, they can. This was at a homeowners meeting. Someone asked, well, what is the common area? He explained it, and that's when he said, everything was common area until you bought your lot, then that became your responsibility. I have it right here. Anybody who wants to read it, you could read it.
Meaning the sidewalk.
The sidewalks. That becomes your responsibility. Now, we already cleaned the rest of the sidewalks in here, and that all comes out of your homeowner's dues. Montpelli never put in the original, and I have that too, the original budget. There was never anything in there about cleaning anybody's sidewalks. It was, the reserves were there to take care of the roads, etc. So now you have two opinions. And as far as I'm concerned, you have one clarification and one opinion. So this is where we've been left as far as the board goes. Well, not the board, but Bill. He has a different opinion, and I have an opinion that everything in the documents show that that portion of the common ground became your property when you purchased your lot. And the responsibility went along with it. And that's what we've been doing in here for 15 years. So basically now, this was not to, I asked you to come to give your opinion. Now, the board can do whatever you want to do. We can make a line item in the budget